All right, but we're going to get you started here at 4 with brand new details on the Baltimore Key Bridge collapse. Glad you're with us this afternoon on WSA 9. I'm Adam Longo.
And I'm Simone D'Alba. Right now, President Biden is just wrapping up a visit to the site of the Key Bridge collapse.
He also met with some of the relatives of the 6 construction workers who died in that disaster.
This afternoon's tour gave the president an up-close look at the damage and a deeper sense of human loss, as well as a new perspective on the huge job that lies ahead.
So first, to clear the shipping channel, and second, to ultimately replace that bridge, a project that could take years.
To all the military members and first responders, and most importantly, the people of Maryland, I'm here to say your nation has your back, and I mean it. To all the families and loved ones who are grieving, I've come here to grieve with you. We all are.
President Biden has pledged the full support of the federal government, and this afternoon he announced relief for small businesses and workers affected by this collapse.
The White House is also asking Congress to greenlight enough money to pay for the entire cost of a new bridge. Well, the president's visit comes as top brass at the recovery and salvage effort released their first estimate of when they might be able to get shipping moving again in and out of Baltimore's port. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is aiming for a partial reopening of the federal channel there by the end of the month, and they estimate the entire channel could be opened by the end of May. Scott Broom with us live at the effort's Joint Command Center, where he's been talking to the people in charge of making it happen.
That's right. Scott, can you give us a sense of, how quickly do they think they're going to be able to get this done, and how is that possible?
Well, there's 7 giant cranes out there right now staged to begin some of the lifting. We're here at the Joint Command Center, which is where all of the military brass and others have come together. They've taken over the passenger terminal here since passenger ships can't get in. It's a warehouse-sized building filled with people who are putting this plan together. So here are some of the nuts and bolts that are going to happen in the coming days. The channel, if you think about it, is very much like a roadway, and there are 2 lanes. It's wide enough to allow 2 ships through during normal operations. The dolly is way over on the west side of that channel. That means there's a lot of debris on the east side that is not tangled up with the ship. And the plan right now is to start dredging and lifting those items up off the bottom over on that far side. And if you think about it, it's just like a tragedy on a roadway. Get 1 lane open, and the easiest side to get open is the side where the ship is not. That's where there's wreckage on the bottom that is not tangled up with the ship, so it's less complicated to move. Now, they've got all these cranes staged here. They're ready to begin this as soon as they get a really nice weather window. It's been windy today. There was a presidential visit, but beginning this weekend, they are staged now to lift their first 350-ton piece of concrete and steel off the bottom. The idea is to get 1 lane open at least 35 feet deep. Now, that's not the whole channel, but 35 feet is deep enough to begin getting some classes of ocean-going ships into this port and out of the port. Notably, a lot of the car carriers, and this is the nation's #1 vehicle export and import port, the car carriers, a lot of them can get through 35 feet. So that is a partial reopening of this port, and they are predicting now that they think they can get that done by the end of April. Moving the dolly, getting it unloaded, getting it untangled from the bridge debris and pulled out, that may take a lot more time. The whole channel, which is 50 feet deep, they don't think they're going to be able to get that open until the end of May. But that is a lot sooner than a lot of people thought it was going to happen. Coming up at 5, I'm hopefully going to have a chance to speak with the commander here. She is the colonel of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, STS Pinchason, and she is the one who's putting these plans together. She doesn't sleep very much. She's got an extremely important and dangerous job ahead of her, and it can't go without mentioning that each scoop of debris that comes up from the bottom, they need to survey for the possibility of finding the 4 missing victims in all of this. So it's going to go slowly. They're going to be careful. They're very mindful that lives have already been lost, and they're mindful that this is incredibly dangerous work. We're talking about hundreds and hundreds of tons at a time with divers in the water. All of it is dangerous, and lives are at stake as they try to both recover victims and get this port open partially as early as the end of this month. I'll be back at 5 o'clock to tell you a lot more, and hopefully to be with Colonel Pinchason and let her explain some of this herself. Reporting live in Baltimore, Scott Broom, WUSA 9.
Yeah, Scott, I think your highway accident analogy there is perfect. For those of us here in the district, it would be tantamount to metro single tracking, just one lane to go in and out. Of course, it's just amazing to think in just a few weeks' time that they're going to be able to pull up all that wreckage, the roadway and the steel, and get that one channel open. But the Army Corps of Engineers, we know one thing, that they don't quit. Scott Broom there live with us in Dundalk.
That's right.